And I work on payments for ecosystem services and other economic tools for nature conservation. WWF Danube-Carpathian Programme is implementing a project on payments for ecosystem services in the Danube Basin, but now I will not focus entirely on this. I will, the purpose of my presentation today is to give you examples of how ecosystem services, their maintenance, their protection, their restoration can bring benefits for local economies, for businesses and for the nature. But before going further, maybe you all know this theoretical background of ecosystem services, but I just want to show it for you. You know that ecosystems are providing the society with wide range of benefits, and local people, companies, and societies, they rely on ecosystems to get input, to maintain production processes, to get climate stability. All these different benefits that we sometimes call resources, they actually rely on the capacity of ecosystems, on their health to provide these benefits. And these benefits, they range from food and fibers to the regulation of pollutants, to regulation of climate, water quality and quantity, and so on. However, at present, most of these ecosystem services, except for the material ones, where you see food, agricultural food, fibers, fuels, and etc., they are undervalued or they don't have any financial value at all. And this is a problem because in developed economies, when we try to reach quick financial returns, actually the overuse of ecosystem services is creating cutting of this of the natural flow of ecosystem services and the functioning of the ecological systems. In response to these processes and to increase concerns about the ecosystems and the services they provide the whole society, new markets started emerging, like markets for ecosystem services. And these markets sometimes were formed through regulation, where governments introduce a cap on using an ecosystem or causing damages to a given ecosystem. But sometimes there were voluntary business deals that emerged by itself because of different perspectives or interests of companies. We heard here before in other presentations that this interest could be, for example, maintaining an operational standard. It could be the maintenance of operational or operational costs. It could be also a pressure from shareholders, etc. So this is a very brief introduction into ecosystem services. And now I would like to continue with the example of how a given ecosystem and the restoration of a given ecosystem can actually bring benefits to local economies, to the nature, and to the businesses. The case comes from Hungary, from the Tisza floodplain, and it was developed. This was a project developed by our colleagues in WWF Hungary. The area of Tisza River used to be a floodplain where the main land cover used to be grasslands. But because of breaking the balance between the nature and people, meaning intensive agriculture, reducing the area of natural habitats, then the quality of soil was really deteriorated, and also the cutting of traditional farming practices also brought a lot of pressure on the local habitats. So this reflected in total change of the typical land cover in the area and spreading of an invasive, aggressive species called Amorpha horticosa. Other problem of this area and other characteristics of this area is that in the same time, so this is the place that we are talking about, and in the same time this area used to be one of the least developed, economically developed regions in Hungary. Despite the environmental problems, the area suffered low economic opportunities, low employment opportunities, low diversification of economic activities. And because of the change of the land cover, in addition to these socio-economic problems, actually the area suffered a lot of floods. In the last 10 years, 5 major floods occurred in the area because of the change of the land cover. So, yeah, the balance, as I said, between the nature and local society and the local economy was broken. And here on this picture, for example, you can see the invasive shrub. It is a shrub that distributed along the Tisa Valley. Almost 98% of the original land cover along the Tisa Valley was lost because of the amorpha. And this is a shrub. It really created compact and dense territories, somewhere covering 100%, totally changing the natural habitat. And this created a problem because the shrub also started invading croplands, which were difficult and more costly to maintain. So facing all these socio-economic problems, our colleagues from WWF Hungary had to think about a solution. And their vision was that by restoring back the floodplain, actually they can create benefits for the local communities. They found out through a lot of researches that actually this aggressive foreign species, amorpha, has very good energy values. So they decided that they can start together with the local population to harvest to remove the invasive species so that they will restore the original, the native land cover, and they have to do this together with local communities. In order to do this, several major actions should be undertaken. First, together with local communities and local municipality, they started cutting the invasive shrub, and they transformed this biomass into energy. The biomass was used in local installations for heating public buildings, but part of this biomass was sold to a local energy producer and supplier. And the income generated was used actually to restore traditional farming practices, which used to be grazing and mowing. So they used the money to buy and to create herds of 2 local cattle breeds. These were the Hungarian grey cattle and the water buffalo, which were the best actually to maintain the natural land cover in a wetland. And in order to ensure the sustainability of the energy project, because they built a project on energy from a biomass, they found out actually that the morpha could be cut and removed up to the 3rd year. After the 3rd year, the shrub doesn't grow any longer, so they had to think of something to replace the shrub in order to ensure the energy sustainability of the energy project. And what they found as a solution actually was to create plantations of native tree species, and they created plantations of willows that was used also as a biomass source to continue the energy production. The pictures that you see here are actually the pictures from the process involving local people collecting the amorpha, putting it all together, and then processing and cutting the biomass, so it's easy to cutting the biomass, so it's easy to transport. Then this biomass, part of it, as I said, was used in local heating systems at local institutes, and part of it was actually sold to a power producer, which also produced green energy. And these pictures that you see are the water buffaloes and the Hungarian grey cattle, and one of the species that returned back and that used to be there before the amorpha overtook the areas of natural of grasslands actually. So this case actually shows you how investing in the restoration and maintenance of a floodplain can bring benefits for the nature and for local economies. For the nature, the reduction of the areas with amorpha actually created more space for the natural habitats and the species that are linked to these natural habitats. It also was more attractive for environment, created more attractive environment for water birds. While for local economies, the benefits also were multiple because local people got new type of employment, new kind of economic activity. They also got less expensive energy because of the biomass that they used, less expensive energy for local municipalities because of the biomass that they used to heat local buildings. And also the restoration of the landscape without the amorpha created space for the development of ecotourism. I have to say that this project still continues, and now it is expanded to include more energy suppliers and to work more on developing and remove amorpha along the river. But yeah, this is a case that I wanted to demonstrate why ecosystems are important for local societies and how investing in their protection can bring a win-win situation. As I said, there are different kinds of economic instruments to protect ecosystems. It could be done through regulation, through tax and subsidies, and etc. But there are also private deals between business players and managers of, let's say, natural resources that actually can come together in one deal. And this instrument is known as payment for ecosystem services. Payment for ecosystem services, when you see the chart, is nothing different from a standard business deal. We have a buyer, we have a seller, we have a service and the payment. But what is really specific here is the purpose of the transaction, of the business transaction. It means that we have a payment without which the service would not be provided. It means that payment for ecosystem services actually gives an additionality to the business as usual scenario. This is what is typical here. And when we see at the different players, buyers or beneficiaries, as they are called here, this could be companies, this could be states that are interested in protecting the ecosystem services, like in the cases of Evian, for example, that we heard today. And on the other side of the deal are usually land managers. Because of land management practices, we have land management practices influence the quality of environment and influence the flow of ecosystem services. And of course, the service is provided by the manager of the land, of the natural resources, through decreasing the pesticides or fertilizers, for example, afforestation or reforestation activities in a aquifer in order to prevent soil erosion or sedimentation of water. So not to go endlessly with this theory, I would like to give you one example that comes from Belgium, similarly to the Evian case. Yeah, so this case is very similar to the Evian case, and very briefly I will say that in order to protect the standard for water used for the production of beer, a Belgian company had to pay to farmers in order to cease intensive farming practices. Also, they installed in biomethanization on the dairy farms and actually created a plan for the reduction of chemical inputs on the field. So the cost per hectare per farmer was 150 euro, but actually the result for the company was that they maintained their operational license without which they would stop otherwise their activity. So in this case, the brewery is the payer for the ecosystem services, farmers are the provider of the ecosystem services, and the service itself is water quality. And this case comes also from the Danube, from the lower Danube. This is a case that was developed under the project on payments for ecosystem services by the Danube-Carpathian Programme. where in this case we have a pure conflict between nature and economic activities. It is about a fish pond, private fish pond, for profit oriented, that is located very close to a nature reserve, which is one of the biggest bird nesting place in Bulgaria. And birds nesting in this nature reserve used to cross the river and go and feed on the fish ponds. So the fish pond managers sustain up to 70% loss of yield. So if we follow the logic of payments for ecosystem services, Bulgaria had to pay to the fish pond manager because birds from Bulgaria came to Romania. But no, because birds actually do not belong to any country. They're not property of anybody. So we had to think of other solution. And one of the solutions that we thought actually to use the existing public payments and to compensate or actually to award the efforts of the fish pond managers to protect the birds. But also we developed more measures for the fish pond manager also to maintain the quality of water, to reduce its greenhouse gases, and that's how we end up with a package of 5 measures, each of them with different value. So the benefit in this case is the protection of 31 bird species, improved water quality, and reduction of greenhouse gases. This is only one of the cases. We have 4 more under the project, and if you're interested in this, I'll be glad to answer them.